Dear students, welcome to the lecture series on the topic Engineering Graphics. So today's discussion will be related to the Gothic lettering, which is used to put down all types of dimension, notes, instructions onto the engineering drawing. So I am Professor IPS Ahuja from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Punjabi University, Patiala. So let us first of all understand why do we need to put down the text information onto the engineering drawing. So as we have already discussed that engineering drawing is basically composed of two components. The first component is the graphic language, which is regarding the shape description of any given product onto the drawing sheet. But as we have already discussed that this graphic language is incomplete because it does not provide us the detailed information about the dimensions of the object and also the location details of the different parts of the objects. So in the graphic language we are using different types of lines, the projection method and the geometric constructions. Whereas if we want to complete our engineering drawing, we need the support of the word language, which is the second component of the engineering drawing. And this word language is used to supplement the graphic language to describe the size, the locational details of the different parts of our components or the products, and it also provides the detailed specifications of the object. And here the graphic language, as it is composed of line types, projection method and geometric construction. So the word language, this is composed of lettering, symbols, notes and the conventions. Now you can see in the given engineering drawing that we have with us, this drawing consists of lot of text information which is written down over it. And what for we need the text? We need the text information onto our engineering drawing to put down all types of dimensions of the given object or the products over there. Then the second thing is, besides putting down the dimensions, now we have to put down the manufacturing instructions onto our engineering drawing regarding what type of surface finish requirements will be there, what type of heat treatment requirements will be there for the given products, what type of special machining characteristics will be required at different locations of the given component. Similarly, we need to put down lot of notes onto our engineering drawing to reflect the surface finish requirements as well as to depict the tolerance requirements of the given sections of the given product. So this way there are lot many symbols also which will be required to be added onto the drawing to give us the complete illustration regarding the specific detailed specifications of the product which is to be manufactured. Besides this, we have the title block onto the engineering drawing where lots of information regarding the projection methods, the scale used in the engineering drawing, the component material details and the component number, etc., the approvals for the given product. So everything, there are a lot of details which are being put into the title block. So this is how you see there is need to understand that engineering drawing is not complete without the addition of lot of text onto the engineering drawing. And if we want to have our manufacturing to be carried out in the error-free mode at the most economical model, only then it will be possible when we have the perfect graphical language as well as we should have the adequacies regarding the word language. So this is where the Gothic lettering comes into picture, because we cannot afford that our text language should be misleading or it should be incomplete or it should be illegible, so that the person who is going to manufacture the component has wrong description regarding the dimensions, the manufacturing instructions and the specific details of the components, and This is where we can ensure that we can have efficient delivery of the instructions to the manufacturing people over there or the personnel into the manufacturing plant. Now, when we talk about the Gothic lettering, basically we are using single stroke Gothic lettering as well as double stroke Gothic lettering. But first of all, we need to understand that the putting down of the text onto the engineering drawing is once again governed by the BIS standards, that is the BIS 9609 2001 standard is there. So when we talk about putting down the text or the lettering onto the engineering drawing, so we need to understand that lettering, it is an art of putting down the text on the drawing by putting up the alphabets, the numerals and symbols onto the engineering drawing. And text on engineering drawing is used to communicate non-graphical information. Now you see, we have seen that whenever we are talking about normal lettering on other than engineering drawing, we are putting down the cursive lettering over there, we have the artistic lettering, but so far as the engineering drawings are concerned, we have to avoid all those things. So far as putting down the text onto the engineering drawing is concerned, the lettering should be kept simple, legible and uniform. This is the primary requirement. We should have the uniform letters. All letters should have the uniform spacing, and all the words, once again, they should be uniformly spaced. So there should not be anything like artistic or cursive lettering onto the engineering drawing, because cursive lettering, even though it may appear to be very beautiful, but it is very hard to read. So we cannot afford any miscommunication onto our engineering drawing. So the letters which we are going to use onto our engineering drawing, they should have uniform shape, size, line thickness with uniform space between the letters and the words. So one such style which is very popular amongst the engineers, it is called Gothic lettering. Why do we say it is Gothic lettering? Here we have the standards regarding how much is going to be the width of the alphabet, how much is going to be the height of alphabet. So this ratio must be maintained for writing all the letters, and usually the width to height ratio for Gothic lettering is kept as 4:7 over there. Whereas in certain alphabets which are having larger number of space requirements, so there it will be 5:7, but usually we are using 4:7 ratio for all the alphabet letters over there. So over here you see all these letters, we call them Gothic letters, which are having uniform line width for all the parts of the letter. So whenever we are writing any alphabet, so first line cannot be darker one or the other lines cannot be thinner one. So whatever lines will be involved in any given alphabet, so all the lines of a given alphabet or a numeral must be having the same thickness over there. So just you can see over here the distinction between a good and poor lettering. So the first, you can see the first where we have written down the estimate. So this is a good method of lettering. The reason is all the alphabets, they are of the same size, the line size is the same, and the ratio of the width to height is same everywhere over there in all these alphabets. Whereas look at the second one, E is bigger, S is smaller, few alphabets are in the lower case, few alphabets are there in the bigger case. So this is not a uniform style of the lettering. Similarly, in the third case, you don't have the ratio maintained between width and height, or the height ratio is different in the different alphabets. So this is again not acceptable. So in any given engineering drawing, you cannot expect that few alphabets you write down in italics and other ones you write down in the vertical case. So all the alphabets, if you are going to write in vertical, all alphabets of a word should be written down in the vertical case. Wherever the italics will be required, so whole heading or the whole words, they are going to be put into the italics mode. You cannot mix and match in case of any engineering drawing, because the purpose of the engineering drawing is to communicate the right type of the information in the most efficient way. There is nothing like beautification of the engineering drawing that we have to go in for. So the alphabets, they should be of the uniform shape. The spacing has to be uniform, as well as you cannot mix and match vertical and the italics alphabets over there. So the first one is the accepted one style of lettering, whereas the remainder ones, they are not acceptable. So when we talk about the Gothic lettering, so there are two types of Gothic lettering. First one is single stroke Gothic lettering, whereas the second method is called double stroke Gothic lettering. So both of these, that is single stroke as well as the double stroke lettering, it can be vertical or it can be inclined. So usually we are using most of the times the vertical Gothic lettering, but sometimes when we want to highlight something, so there we can use the italics Gothic lettering so as well. So there are two types of lettering, one is single, another one is double, and both of them, they can be vertical as well as inclined. Now let us start with single stroke vertical Gothic lettering. So the single stroke means that the thickness obtained in the one stroke of the pencil should be there. So we have to write down any given alphabet in such a way that the uniform thickness will be there, and you need not put down any given stroke in the multiple times. Only once you draw any stroke while you want to write down any alphabet. So we'll just see in a while how we can go about writing single stroke vertical Gothic alphabets or the numerals over there. So here you see, while we write down the letters in the single stroke vertical Gothic lettering, so it does not mean that the pencil or the pen should not be lifted while completing a particular letter. Only thing is, we have to use single stroke to write down every component of a given alphabet over there. Similarly, when we talk about double stroke vertical Gothic lettering, so the difference between single stroke and the double stroke is that the thickness of the single stroke lettering is a thinner one, whereas in the case of double stroke vertical Gothic lettering, the line width will be larger one over there. So you can say that the pen, inking pen, which we are going to use in the double stroke will have larger diameter ball pen over there. So this way we are going to get deeper strokes, just like you are using normal Arial font, that is single stroke, you are using the Arial black. So here the alphabet pattern will be the same, construction portion will be the same. Only thing is, in the case of Arial black, you are having the bolder alphabets over there. So in double stroke, the line width will be double as compared to the single stroke vertical Gothic lettering. So let us see how do we write all these alphabets onto our graph sheets or even on our drawing sheets without any support. So this is, you see, the basic pattern which we are going to follow to write down different alphabets as well as numerals onto our drawing sheet. So here we are going to follow the Gothic style. Gothic style means the ratio of the height to width is going to be 7:4. Even though there are few exceptions, the exceptions are there in the case of three alphabets. As you can see, the first alphabet where the exception is there, it is the alphabet J. So all other alphabets, you can see, they are written down in this ratio of 7:4. 7 blocks is the height, 4 blocks is the width of the alphabet. You can see A, B, C, D, E, F. So all these alphabets, they are written down in the ratio height is 7, width is 4. Whereas in the case of J, because you see J is a lean alphabet. So since it is a lean alphabet, so here the width is taken as 3. So the exception is J, we write down in 7:3, and there are a couple of more exceptions, that is M and W. You can see in case of M and W, the number of lines which will be required to construct a given alphabet, here you are having 4 lines, whereas usually in most of the cases you are not going to require more than 2 or 3 vertical lines over there. So since this is not a lean alphabet, so more number of lines, even in M, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines or inclined lines are involved. So since more number of lines are required for the purpose of construction of this alphabet, so for M as well as W, you are going to require more width of the space over there. So here for M and W, the space requirement will be, or the height to width requirement will be 7:5. Similarly, one more alphabet is there, I. You see, I we write down as single one over here. So you cannot write down this I in 4 width over 4 block width over there. So I will be written down in 7:1 only. And even it is not one, it is a single line. So with this basic introduction, we write down all the alphabets, and you see it's not like that you can write down any alphabet in any way. So we have to write down, you keep on counting the blocks over here, like you start from this corner and you go to the center top over here. After 2 blocks you write down the first stroke, then from this center you get back to the bottom on the downside. So this completes the second stroke of the alphabet. Then you leave 2 blocks from the bottom and then you write down this horizontal line. So within 3 strokes or 3 lines are required to complete this particular alphabet. And after every stroke we are going to pick up our pencil so that the next stroke of the alphabet can be completed. So this way, in the ratio 7:4, we have to write down all these alphabets, and I'll just show you in a while how we can go about completing the construction of all these alphabets onto the graph sheet. So the same pattern has to be followed while we have to write down all these alphabets onto our drawing sheet without the help of this graph paper or these guidelines over there. Similarly, you can write down all these numerals. You keep on counting the blocks for every component of this particular alphabet or the numeral, and accordingly by following these references we can complete the construction of the alphabets as well as the numerals onto our drawing sheets or the graph papers. Now after this, you can see the second method is double stroke vertical Gothic lettering. So this double stroke, even though we don't use it because it is going to require larger thickness of our pencil or the stroke, but still we need to understand the difference between single stroke and double stroke. So even in the single stroke or in the double stroke, you can see the difference. The method of construction is almost the same, but the basic difference is in the double stroke, the thickness of this line which we are going to use is much thicker. So it is double as compared to the single stroke lettering over there. So you can see any vertical line or any inclined line will require 1 block thickness over there. So if you are going to use the inking pen, this is the pattern how you will be able to draw all these alphabets. The drawing pattern will remain the same whether you are drawing single stroke or double stroke vertical Gothic lettering. But if you are using a simple pencil, then you can see 1 block thickness will be required to draw any line or any part of our alphabet over here. So this is how you can write it down onto the drawing sheet or the graph paper using, once again, you can keep on counting these blocks over there from this graph, and accordingly you can write down the double stroke vertical Gothic lettering onto your graph sheet or onto your drawing sheet over there. Now in this BIS SP 46 2003, it has recommended different letter sizes: 1.8 mm, 2.5, 3.5, 5 mm, 7 mm, 10 mm and 14 and 20 mm. So these are the different letter heights which they have suggested. So obviously the large size, you see, whenever we read out any book, on the top there is a title of the book, then there are titles of the chapters, so slightly lesser font will be used over there. Then there are headings, again slightly lesser sizes of the alphabets or numerals they are used. Then there are subheadings over there. So similarly on the drawing sheets as well, the large size letters they will be used for the main titles of the drawing or the headings of the drawing. The medium sizes of the letters will be used for the subtitles and the important notes, and the small size letters they will be used for dimensioning and the general strokes over there. But everywhere whenever we are writing any information, the height to width ratio, it will be used as standard. Either you use 7:4, I told you that for M and W it should be 7:5, and for J this will be 7:3. 3. So the standard values will be used. So as I told you that in order to construct any given alphabet construction, so different vertical, inclined and curved lines are to be used. So this is how you see you should go about putting down any given stroke. If a vertical line is required, you draw it from the top to bottom. Let us say A is to be written left to right, you move it like this. Then otherwise you move it like this depending upon the inclination. Just you can see, if I is to be written, you write down vertically top to bottom. And mind you, here, even though this may appear that we are using straight lines over there, this has to be written freehand. So no scale is to be used while you want to write down any alphabet. And even when the curved components are involved in any given alphabet, so this portion of the curve should be written like this. This portion of the curve should be drawn like this. But every curve should be drawn smoothly in a single stroke without lifting the pencil. So whenever you see this component is required of the curve is required, straight away in a single go you have to write down. Similarly, whenever you have to draw this, it should not be overwriting over there. So don't keep on overwriting your pencil onto the given space. So this is about 7:4. You can see I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks is my height. Then width 1, 2, 3, 4. So 90% of the alphabets will be written down in the 7:4. And the exceptions, they are W and M, which will be written down in 7:5. Similarly, if you have to write down J, I'll put down a line over here, and then this will be 7:3. Within this, you can see this way I'll write down my J. So J, if I have to write, I'll start from here in a single stroke. I'll reach this point, then a curve I can draw like this. So I'll just show you that how we can write down all these alphabets. But before we come to the actual construction, then the last portion of this 7:4 alphabet writing is italics. So what is the difference between vertical and italics? Why do we need italics? Italics alphabets we require when we want to highlight certain instructions onto our engineering drawing. So what is italics? Italics means the letters, they will be inclined. And what is the angle of inclination? You can see over here, the angle of inclination is 75 degree from this side, or it can be 105 degree from the other side, because the total angle has to be 180 degree. So they will be in letters will be inclined towards right at an angle of 75 degree. And how do we draw all these alphabets? You can see the base of the alphabet or the numeral will be rooted to the ground, whereas the top portion will be moving towards right by one block. You can see this is one block. So the top portion moves ahead of the base by one block. So this gives us an angle of 75 degree. You can see over here, this is how we have written down M. So if you want to write down M, what we do? We start from this point, bottom will stay here, but the top portion, it will be moving ahead by one particular block. It's just like you see you are standing in a bus and the driver is applying the brake. What is happening? Your feet are rooted to the ground, but your top body, it is moving ahead, it is falling forward. So same way over here, whenever we want to write down any alphabet in the italics, the base will be there where it was there while you were writing the vertical Gothic lettering strokes over there. But the top portion of the alphabet will be moving ahead by one block, so that we can get an angle of 75 degree towards the right hand side. Otherwise the construction method will remain same. Now you can see there are 26 alphabets over here and these are 10 numerals. So out of this, now I'm going to show you one by one the comparison of vertical Gothic lettering and the italics Gothic lettering, how we are going about drawing all these alphabets onto our graph sheet. First of all, with the help of a graph sheet or a reference guidelines, then same thing you can follow, that you can write all those alphabets freehand onto your drawing sheet. So this is basically a practice. Now you can see these are the alphabets which I have picked up one by one. First alphabet was A. You can see A means you start from the bottom, then top position is 2 blocks from the right, and then bottom is once again 4 blocks from the left corner, and then this horizontal line will be drawn 2 blocks from the bottom. So let us see how we can write down vertical Gothic lettering A. And what is the size? Size is 7:4. So first stroke, you can see if I have to write down A, this is the first line. I'll start from here, move like this in a single stroke. I'll complete the first length of this particular alphabet A. Then second, I'll start from this position because 2 blocks I had to leave from the left corner top. Now this is the second one. I'll start from here, move down till I reach 4 blocks starting from the left corner. So this completes my second stroke of this particular alphabet. Then from the bottom, I am going to leave 2 blocks and then draw the horizontal line. So just see, I am going to draw the horizontal line from left to right. So this from top to bottom like this, from top to bottom in this orientation, and third is my this. So you can see first stroke, second stroke, and third. Now you see this is vertical Gothic lettering. Now what if I have to draw the same alphabet on the italic side? So bottom will stay here. This corner I can put down a dot. This corner I can put down a dot, but this center will not be after 2. Center will be now after 3 blocks from this corner. So 1 block means inclination of 75 degree. So once I have this inclined plane or inclined guideline with me, so now you can see my first line is like this. That is from this corner, if I move to the top, 1 block is for italics. Again, 2 blocks are required to locate the center position of A. Then the second stroke from here to this point. Now earlier on you were getting, you can see slope for 2 blocks, whereas now because it is italics, now this slope reduces by 1 block and this slope increases by 1 block. This is the italics. Similarly, from the bottom, I am going to leave 2 blocks over here. I complete this A. So this is italics A. This is my vertical Gothic lettering A. Now let us start with the second alphabet, which is W. Now W, you see, you start from this corner, from the top, bottom is leaving 1 block over here. Then center of W is 2.5 blocks from the center. This is 7:5. And again the top is again 2.5 blocks from here. And this bottom is 1 and 1, 2 and 3 blocks over here from the first leg of this particular stroke. So let us complete it over here in the vertical mode. So vertical mode means you put 1 dot over here, second dot you put over here, at 2.5 blocks from the top put the third dot, put the fourth dot at the fourth block, and put the fifth dot over here. And one by one we are going to draw the 5 strokes into this. So just see, 1 stroke, then this is the second stroke, then the third stroke, and then the fourth stroke. So this is the construction of the vertical stroke which for the W letter, capital W alphabet. Now same thing if I have to write down in the italics mode, just see, 1 block forward I am going to move. So my guideline has moved by 1 block at the top, whereas bottom stays in its position. Now the construction method will remain same. Just see, bottom will be 1 and 4. So I'll put down 1 dot at this block, and at the fourth block I'll put down another dot. But what happens with this? Here this portion moves by 1 block. This portion moves further by 1 block. And this portion moves further by 1 block. So here, just see, the first leg or stroke, it becomes vertical. Earlier it was having a slope of 1 block, but since I have moved this forward, so this gives me a vertical leg over here. Second, this was 2.5 blocks, so 2.5 blocks from the first position, I get this point. Bottom stays there at the fourth position, and finally you have this last point. So this is my italics capital W which I have written. So this is vertical A, inclined A, this is vertical W, this is my vertical italics W. Then the next alphabet which we are going to discuss about is K. So just see the K. This is my first stroke of the K. Then you leave 2 blocks from the bottom. Put a dot over here. At the 4th block corner top right side, you put down another dot, and finally you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. So at the second position, 4.5 blocks above, put this third stroke over here. So same thing we are going to do. 7:4 is my K. Just see, first stroke is my this one. Then you leave 2 blocks from the bottom. So I am going to leave 2 blocks. Draw this second stroke like this. So just see, this is my second stroke. Now at second block, 4.5 blocks from the bottom, I am going to draw this third stroke. So first stroke, second stroke, and third stroke. So this way in 3 strokes I am able to complete the construction of the vertical K. And similarly for the italics, this portion is going to move forward, this portion is going to move forward. Let us see how we go about constructing the italics K. So this portion moves forward by 1 block. Similarly, from second block you go to the 5th block compared to this, otherwise usually it is 4th. Then from here you draw the third stroke. So this gives you italics K. So this is vertical K, this is italics K. Similarly, you have the M. So M is again completed in 4 strokes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let us write down M. First stroke, second is 2.5 blocks from the bottom, that is the midpoint. Then you go back to the top and then you come back to the bottom. So now we write down the italics M. Just see, 1 block we are moving forward. So this gives us the completion of the alphabet italics capital M. So this is vertical capital M, this is italics capital M. Similarly, first 4 blocks we had written where 2 exceptions were there, W and M, both the exceptions we have written down. Then next one is again 2 alphabets we are picking up, N and O. Let us write down N. N will require 1 stroke, 2 stroke and 3 stroke. So let us see, 1, 2, 3. Let us go for italics N. 1 stroke forward. This and this 2 legs are there, they will move forward by 1 block. Second and then third. This is italics capital N, this is vertical capital N. Then we go for O. O is again completed in 3 strokes. You can see, 4 strokes. 1 stroke, we complete this. Second one, this vertical portion. Third one, this vertical portion. And then you have this circular portion. So let us do 1, 2, 3, 4. So here you can check, this semicircle is for 2 blocks. So this we have drawn for 2 blocks. 3 blocks is my vertical, and then again 2 blocks is my bottom semicircle over here. For italics, this center of the curve will move forward by 1 block, and these vertical lines will become inclined. In case of italic, you can see the vertical line has become inclined. Then the center moves forward by 1 block. Then the again vertical line has become inclined, and then the bottom curve will be there again. In 4 strokes we are able to complete the alphabet O in the ratio once again 7:4. Now we are going to pick up the third exception which is there in the form of J. I told you that J is there in 7:3. You can see I put down the ratio 7:3. So if we have to write down J will be possible in 3 strokes. So you can check, there is semicircle for 3 blocks. So 1.5 is my radius approximately. So what I will be doing, just see over here, 1.5 curve I am going to draw, and then vertical 5.5 blocks line I am going to draw. In 2 strokes I will be completing J. You can see 5.5 blocks I have drawn the vertical line in a single stroke, and then this curve I am going to draw for J, and the thickness of this curve is 3 blocks rather than 4 blocks which were used, because lesser number of lines are involved into this J. So this is a lean alphabet, whereas these two alpha earlier M and J we call them as thick or fat alphabets. Then the another alphabet which we are going to draw is Y. So Y, you can see this is one dot reference point, second dot reference point, and 1 2 3 blocks from the top after 2 blocks. So 2 blocks is my width, and then I will join this. So 3 strokes will be required to complete this alphabet Y. 1 2 and then 3. So let us see. This is, oh sorry, before we that go, this is my italics J. In the italics J, this vertical line will get inclined and the curve will also be slightly inclined, so that I complete my inclined J. Then as I told you earlier, Y, one stroke like this, two stroke like this, and third stroke will be vertical. Whereas in italics Y, this portion 1, this portion 2, they will be moving ahead by one block, so that you get the inclination. So the top, you see it is moving forward by one block. This portion is again moving forward, and then bottom will stay here where it was, 2 blocks from the bottom. So bottom will stay at the 2 blocks from the bottom. Again you can see this was the vertical length, this has become inclined over here. So this is my construction of the italics capital Y. Now let us pick up another couple of alphabets. The first alphabet is B. Now in B you can check the height is 7, but the upper part of the B is smaller one. So upper part is for 3 blocks, whereas the lower part of the B is for 4 blocks. So what we are going to do, please check. I'll draw the first stroke, then I'll draw 1.5 straight line, 1.5 straight line from here. Just see, and then this curve is there for 3 blocks. So what I'm going to pick up, 1 2 3. So the second part of the straight line I'm going to draw over here, again 1.5. So I have got a semicircle to be drawn. So step 1 first stroke, step 2 second stroke, step 3 is third stroke, and the fourth stroke will be this semicircle which will be leaving here, which will be touching this particular point, because this is width, this width is 3 blocks over here. It doesn't cover the fourth block. So the upper cup is smaller, whereas the bottom cup is for 4 blocks over there. So here I am going to draw a curve. Just see, I am going to draw a curve for 3 blocks. So 3 blocks means from here I'll just assume this is my radius, and freehand in the 4th stroke I'll be completing this. Now for the bottom part of the B, you can see this covers 4 blocks vertical. So 2 blocks I'm going to draw straight, 2 blocks I'll be drawing straight, and then keeping this as center, 2 blocks radius curve I am going to draw freehand. So 1 2 3. So this way I am going to complete my B. So just see how many strokes will be required. I'll start again. First stroke, second stroke, third stroke, fourth stroke, fifth stroke of 2 blocks, 6 strokes, 2 blocks, and then a semicircle of 2 blocks. So 7 strokes will be required to complete this alphabet of B. Now similarly, if I have to write down this B in italics, so obviously this top portion will be moving forward by 1 block. So you can see this is the incline. So let us write down B again. This vertical length becomes inclined. Now once again, 1.5 blocks second stroke, leave 3 blocks from here, 1.5 blocks stroke 3, and then you draw for 3 blocks the semicircle. So just see second stroke, third stroke from 3 blocks, and then 1.5 is the radius, so that you get 3 blocks will be the size of this upper cup. For the bottom, 2 strokes, 2 block stroke straight, and then 2 block stroke straight over here, and then 2 block radius. This will be my center. From here you draw a cup or a freehand curve for 2 blocks. So this way, once again in 7 strokes I'll be able to complete my B. Then the next alphabet is my O. Just see, C. Okay, this gives me my C. Upper cup of 2 radius, lower cup of 2 radius, and then 3 is my vertical length. So this is my C. Upper cup, just see, of 2 first stroke, then vertical line for 3 blocks, and this is the lower cup for 2 blocks over here. Next, similarly for inclined letter, this vertical line becomes inclined. Upper cup will again cover the radius of 2 blocks, and the lower cup will cover the radius of 2 blocks. So this becomes my inclined C. Then we write down next alphabet is our R. All these alphabets you can see they are in the ratio 7:4. So 3 exceptions were there. We have written them out, J, W and M before. So let us see R. In case of R, the first stroke is my vertical one, this horizontal one. Again you can see this covers 4 blocks over here. It covers 4 blocks. So the first horizontal line will be for the 2 blocks. You leave 4 blocks from the top, draw another horizontal line for 2 blocks over there, and just see we are left 4 blocks, and then drawn horizontal line for couple of blocks, and then a cup or a curve for 2 blocks over there, 2 blocks radius, so that my total distance becomes 4 blocks over here. And then leave 2 blocks and then draw this inclined line. So this completes our vertical R. Similarly, if we go for this inclined alphabet, so same procedure we are going to follow. Keep on counting the number of blocks over here, and you will be able to complete italics R. Now S is special. In case of S, you can see the width is 4 blocks, but just like B, so B had 3 blocks of the upper cup and 4 blocks of the lower cup. Same way, in case of S, once again you can check, the upper cup is smaller and the lower cup is bigger one. So upper cup is of 3 blocks, as you can see, half a block from here, half a block from here we have left. So what we are going to do, just see 3 blocks radius I am going to draw from the tops. What I'll do, 1.5 radius, 1.5 block radius freehand I am going to draw over here. Just see 1.5, so that I can leave half a block over here to on the right and half a block on the left I can leave. So this is my smaller cup, radius is 3 blocks. Now at the bottom I have got bigger cup which is having the radius 4 blocks, radius is 2 blocks, so my curve is there covering the all the 4 blocks for my alphabet. And then this portion I have to draw freehand. Just see as I am showing you. So as I am showing this portion, you can join, even these are freehand. So first you draw upper cup for 3 blocks, leaving half a block from the left, half a block from the right. Lower cup you draw for 4 blocks, that is radius will be 2 blocks. Here the radius will be 1.5 block, and then join this freehand. So just see this we have joined. Similarly, if you have to draw it on italics, move upper cup forward by 1 block, lower cup will stay as it was there in the previous case, and then you join this freehand over here. Similarly, you can write down the alphabets P, which is similar to your R. You just don't have to draw this line. So if you extend P, you will get the construction of the R. So this is your italics P. Similarly, if you have to write down G, so G is similar to C. Upper cup 2, lower cup is 2. You join this vertical. This is third stroke. Fourth stroke is vertical over here, and fifth stroke is going to complete your G. This is your fourth stroke, and fifth stroke will be the horizontal one. So this is going to complete your G. So same thing we can do in the italics part. Just see upper cup for 2 blocks, lower cup for 2 blocks, vertical line becomes inclined. Then you draw this inclined line up for 3.5 blocks and draw the horizontal line. So this completes the construction of the italics G. So this was the vertical G. This is the italics G. Similarly, you can write down D over here. For D, you can see 1 vertical line. This is a curve for 1.5 block. So 2.5 block will be your straight line. 2.5 block will be your straight line. 1.5 block will be your curve. 1.5 block will be your curve. And then in intermediate 4 blocks, you will have straight line over here. So just see 1 stroke, Second stroke is 2.5 blocks straight horizontal line. Third stroke is again 2.5 blocks straight line from left to right. Then you have this vertical for 4 over here, and then 1.5 will be this curve and 1.5 will be bottom curve. So this gives you the complete construction in how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 6 steps or 6 strokes, you will be able to complete the construction of your vertical D. Now this is same thing in italics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So only thing is the top portion has moved forward by 1 block. Similarly F, in case of F you can see the top line moves to 4th block, whereas the center line is for only 2.5 blocks. So just see, this is E. So E means the bottom line is also there. So this and this. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 strokes will be required. So in italics, the top portion will be moving forward by 1 block. So this is how around 16 alphabets we have seen how we can write them down in italics mode as well as in the vertical mode. So this is how you see we have drawn it onto the graph sheet. Now you can see we have taken a graph sheet where the blocks, they are very small. So what we have done, we have got this one block of 5 by 5. So this 5 by 5 we have taken as one unit. So we can see that as we had discussed in the standard, the ratio will be 7:4. And since the 7 blocks of 5 units each we have taken as height, and 4 blocks of 5 units each we have taken for the width. So the ratio is still 7:4, but only thing is we can say that this ratio now becomes 35:20, which means that 5 times we are going to write this. Otherwise the alphabets, they will become quite smaller. So we can say that we are using a scale of 5:1 to write down all these alphabets. So the way we have demonstrated that how do you write down all those alphabets, all these alphabets and numerals we have written down in the ratio 7:4. And you can check, I is there as a straight line, J is there in 7:3, M is there in 7:5 and W is there in 7:5. Rest all the alphabets and numerals, they are written down in the ratio 7:4. So this is the scale of 5:1. Now here we have taken another graph where we have used the scale 2:1. You can see 7. So this is 5, then again 5 and then 4. So this 14 blocks we have taken as height and 8 blocks we have taken as the width. So it means that we are writing down all these alphabets in the ratio twice. So we are enlarging them twice. So the ratio now 7:4 becomes 14:8. So we can say that while we are writing down all these alphabets, the scale of the construction is now 2:1. So same thing was there in 5:1 ratio. Same thing we have written down in the ratio 2:1. So these are all single stroke Gothic vertical lettering schemes. Similarly, wherever the space is less, rather than writing down the alphabets in 7:4, we can write down again another type of Gothic lettering is 5:4. That is, height of the alphabet will be 5. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the width will be 4. So just like in the previous case, whenever we are writing down the subtitles or where the space is less, especially this will be used for the purpose of dimensioning. So whenever we are doing the dimensioning and within the picture, within the graphical component, we have the lesser space available, we'll be writing down the things in the ratio 5:4. So once again the previous deviations will be valid. That is, for J the ratio will become 5:3. For M and W the ratio will become 1 block higher, that is 5:5. So just you can see we can use these guidelines and same methodology. Just check, we have written down all these alphabets in the ratio 5:4. So here 1 block is we have taken as 5:5. It means that we are using the scale of 5:1 to write down all these alphabets and the numerals. And again you can check, J we have drawn in the ratio of 5:3. W and M we have drawn in the ratio of 5 is to 5, and all the other alphabets we have drawn in the ratio of 5 is to 4. So this is scale of 5 is to 1. We have drawn these alphabets in the ratio of 5 is to 4. Earlier one was 7 is to 4. So we can say that 7 is to 4 is for the bigger headings. 5 is to 4 is used, Gothic lettering is used for smaller dimensioning wherever the space available is less. Now you can see this is the italics lettering, 7 is to 4, and the scale we have used over here is 2 is to 1. So again you can see 14 blocks is my height and 8 blocks is my width. So I can put some dots over here, and accordingly we have joined all the strokes of a given alphabet over here. Then finally you have the smaller case. So the smaller case alphabets, they are written in the ratio of 4 is to 4, 4 is to 2, where 4 is the height and 2 is the width of the alphabet. So you can see the body of the alphabet, just like A, this is B. Body will be there in the central portion, that is this one. The body of the alphabet will be written in this central space, and those alphabets which are moving, which are having the structure which is moving upward, what are those alphabets? B. So B, D, F, H, K, L, T, these alphabets, they will have their upper portion moving above this central block by one block. The alphabets which are, again I repeat, B, D, F, H, K, L, T. So these alphabets, they have the upper portion, it will be moving up by one block, whereas the other alphabets which are moving down, what are those? Just see, these alphabets, they are G, they are J, P, Q, like this, Y, and these alphabets, they have a portion of the alphabet which is going beyond, lower down, beyond this two blocks. So the main body will be written down in 2 is to 2. For those alphabets which have the upper portion, it will be moving up by one block. For those alphabets which have the lower portion, it will be moving down by one block. And again, the ratio here is 4 is to 2, and exceptions are still there for J because it is a lean character. So for the lean alphabet J, the ratio will be not 4 is to 2, the ratio you can check. The ratio is 4 is to 1. Similarly for M as well as for W, the ratio is not 4 is to 2. The ratio becomes now one block higher width. So ratio becomes 4 is to 3. Rest all the characters will be written down in the ratio 4 is to 2. So just see, this is how we have written down all those alphabets, and once again a smaller block of 5 is to 5 we have taken as one block. So we say that this, we have drawn this 5 times. So 5 times mean we are writing down smaller 20 blocks and smaller 10 blocks over there. So we can say that the scale used over here is 5 ratio 1, which we have used. So again, W and M, we have chosen the scale to be 4 is to 3, and for J you can see there is a width of only one block of 5 small over there. So here you have got 4 is to 1 for J and 4 is to 3 for M and W. So again we have written down this in the ratio of 5 is to 1. And finally, whenever you see there are some fractions which are involving numerator and denominator, so the bigger alphabet, that is the left part of the fraction, you have to write down in 7 is to 5, whereas the upper numerator and the denominator, you have to reduce the height and width by 3 is to 3 by 4. So whatever is the 7 is to 4 ratio, divide this by 3 by 4. So this will be the numeral value. This will be the value, the size of for your denominator. For the non-fraction portion, it will be this part, that is 7 is to 4. For the fraction portion, wherever the numerator and the denominator will be there, the sizes will be reduced. Similarly, in certain cases, we have raised to power 3, raised to power 5. So wherever there is index, so for the index, the ratio will remain the same, length to width. that fraction, that is 7:4, will be there for the main part, whereas for the index part the height and width will be reduced by 50%. So if this is 7:4, so this will be 3.5 ratio 2 over here. So 7:4, the index part will be reduced by 50%. And if we are using the computerized drafting, depending upon the space, we can even use normal alphabet. This is how we have already written down or demonstrated how do we write down the letters. But wherever space is less, but this cannot be done otherwise, but you can do it, but then you see we have provided lesser space between these letters. So here this is called compressed lettering. If more space is available, then we can increase the space. But again, whether you use the normal lettering or you use the compressed lettering or you use the extended lettering, the spacing must be maintained between different alphabets. Here you can see there is normal spacing between different alphabets. Here there is reduced spacing, so the spacing will remain same between all alphabet. So compared to this, spacing over here is less than 30%. Over here the spacing we have increased by 100%. So you can use the normal alphabets, you can use the compressed ones, you can use the extended ones, but again the uniformity, uniform space, uniform width and height must be followed. This is the essence of Gothic lettering. The idea over here is not being over enthusiastic and being artistic. So nothing cursive, nothing artistic should be used in case of engineering drawing whenever we have to put down the text on the engineering drawing over there. So this is all about the instructions regarding how do we write down Gothic lettering, whether it is the vertical Gothic lettering or it is the inclined Gothic lettering, that is the uppercase as well as the lowercase. So I hope you might have been able to understand the basics behind the Gothic lettering, which is used for different purposes of dimensioning, putting down the notes on the engineering drawing. So thank you very much. So with this we complete this lecture on engineering drawing, that is the Gothic lettering. Thank you very much.